Welcome to Jahavel. I'm Ara Jalga Harathunian. Imagine sitting in a cafe, the clatter of dishes, a constant backdrop, but your mind is elsewhere, racing to the next notification, the next task. This is the norm for most of us. We rarely pause to notice the subtle undercurrent of noise shaping our thoughts and moods. The world's volume knob is stuck on high, and it's easy to forget what it feels like when the dial turns to zero. In a world buzzing with constant notifications, emails, podcasts, and the relentless hum of social media, when was the last time you truly listened to nothing at all? Not the sound of a fan, not ambient music, but pure, intentional silence. It sounds counterintuitive, but the greatest source of clarity, peace, and even creativity isn't found in what we add to our lives, but in what we are brave enough to take away. Consider the story of Jane, a software developer overwhelmed by the demands of her job and personal life. She decided to experiment by removing the constant clutter of notifications and set aside a daily hour of silence. Within weeks, she reported a newfound clarity that helped her solve a persistent coding issue at work and allowed her to enjoy her family time without distractions. Jane's experience illustrates that by taking away the noise, we can find the insights and focus we often seek. If you're feeling overwhelmed, scattered, or stuck in the endless chatter of daily life, the answer might not be more information or more motivation. The answer might simply be less sound. Think about the last time you had a breakthrough idea or a moment of clarity. Chances are it didn't come while you were multitasking or bombarded by alerts. More likely, it arrived in a rare, quiet moment, a walk in the park, a pause before sleep, or even in the shower. These moments of intentional silence are not luxuries. They are essential for our minds to process, integrate, and innovate. Today, we're going to uncover the subtle yet transformative power of intentional silence, a revolutionary path to a calm and self-awareness you never knew resided within you. We've become addicts of noise, and I mean that literally. We fill every space, walking to the car, waiting for the coffee machine, standing in line, the phone comes out, the headphones go in. We are constantly feeding the mind external stimuli. This addiction to noise is so pervasive that many of us feel anxious when deprived of it, reaching for our devices out of habit rather than need. Our brains, acclimated to constant stimulation, begin to equate silence with boredom or discomfort. Over time, this chronic stimulation can erode our ability to focus, reflect, and even enjoy simple pleasures without distraction. Why? Because for most of us, silence isn't peaceful, it's uncomfortable. Have you noticed your own impulse to reach for your phone or put on music right now? Becoming aware of this automatic response is the first step in practicing mindful self-observation. By questioning our habits, we create an opportunity for change. The discomfort stems from what silence reveals: our own thoughts, fears, and unresolved emotions. In the quiet, we come face to face with ourselves. But it's precisely this encounter that offers the potential for real understanding and growth. The willingness to sit in silence, even briefly, can transform discomfort into insight and resistance into acceptance. When the external noise drops away, our internal noise, the anxious thoughts, the nagging worries, the endless to-do list suddenly gets very loud. This is the fear of being alone with our thoughts, and it is a defining condition of modern life. But there's another side to this. By gently easing into silence, we can learn to observe our inner landscape without judgment. Over time, what once felt overwhelming becomes manageable, and the noise inside begins to quiet. This is not about silencing your mind, but creating space to listen deeply to what it's really saying. This chronic avoidance of quiet is an epidemic. We are training our brains to be constantly distracted, leading to increased cortisol, the primary stress hormone, and a decreased sense of presence. Our systems never have the chance to fully reset. We are always on. Recent studies have highlighted how elevated cortisol levels are not just a fleeting concern, but are linked to chronic diseases like hypertension and diabetes. Just a 2 decimal increase in ambient noise can see cortisol levels spike up to 30%. This makes the stakes of our noisy lives not just a mental challenge, but a significant physical health risk. The long-term effects are significant chronic stress, trouble sleeping, difficulty concentrating, and a persistent sense of being disconnected from ourselves and others. The antidote is simple, but not always easy. Learning to embrace quiet moments even when they feel unfamiliar at first. But what if we could flip that switch? What if the discomfort you feel in the silence is actually the sound of your mind healing? Rather than fleeing from silence, we can approach it with curiosity and compassion. With practice, those uneasy moments transform into opportunities for renewal, a chance to reconnect with our deepest values and aspirations. Silence becomes the soil in which self-awareness and resilience can grow. The good news is that science confirms what ancient contemplative traditions have always known. Silence is restorative medicine for the brain. Buddhist teachings, for example, have long extolled the virtues of silence as a means to achieve mindfulness and inner peace. Neuroscientists have discovered that just a few minutes of intentional quiet can reduce stress, improve memory, and sharpen attention. Practices like meditation and mindful breathing, which emphasize silence, are now widely recommended by psychologists for their ability to reset the nervous system and promote overall well-being. When you intentionally step away from noise, a few powerful things happen physiologically. First, your cortisol levels drop significantly. When your brain is constantly processing sound, it treats it as a low-level threat, keeping the nervous system slightly elevated. Research indicates that spending just a few minutes in intentional silence can reduce cortisol levels by approximately 20%. Moving your body out of mid or mild fight or flight and into rest and digest. Second, your brain begins to produce specific wave states. When you relax into quiet, you increase the alpha brain waves. These are associated with the state of relaxed alertness and focused concentration. And if you stay in the quiet longer, you transition into theta waves, which are linked to deep meditation, powerful insights, and creative problem solving. It is literally your brain's deep cleaning mode. In fact, one fascinating study on mice found that 2 hours of silence per day led to the development of new cells in the hippocampus, which is the region of the brain responsible for memory, learning, and emotion. Silence wasn't just restful, it was regenerative. While this study highlights the profound potential for silence, it's important to note that similar research in humans, though promising, is still in its early stages. However, preliminary findings suggest that regular practice of silence can also enhance human cognitive and emotional functions, offering a parallel to the regenerative effects observed in animal models. Silence doesn't empty your mind, it clears the channels so you can hear the signal. Imagine your mind as a radio attuned to a multitude of frequencies, each vying for your attention. In the daily noise, the true signal is often drowned out by static. However, with intentional silence, you have the chance to delicately tune the dial, fine tuning until your intuitive signal comes in clear and strong. This clarity enhances your focus, fuels your creativity, and builds emotional resilience by giving you space to process feelings without immediate reaction. In this clear and open space, you may notice subtle ideas bubbling up, solutions to problems, creative insights, or simply a sense of gratitude for the present moment. The benefits extend beyond the mind, influencing your physical health and even your relationships by making you more present and attentive. The key is intentionality. You don't need to go on a 10-day silent retreat to experience these benefits. You can start with what I call micro doses of quiet. Here are 3 simple ways to incorporate intentional silence today. The first is the 60-second reset. Before you open your first email, before you launch into a difficult conversation, or before you start your car, take 60 seconds of absolute silence. Close your eyes. Feel the weight of your feet pressing against the floor and let this sensation ground you. Drop your shoulders and just listen to the quiet. This physical cue helps anchor your focus and is enough time to shift your brain state from reactive anxiety to calm readiness. The second is the silent transition. If you walk between meetings or drive home from work, turn off the podcast and turn off the music. Use the travel time as a buffer in which to experiment. Allow yourselves to notice any emotional shifts rather than aiming for perfection. This is a moment to process the previous hours and clear the slate for the next. Don't worry about solving problems. Just let your mind wander without external input. Embrace the curiosity that comes with this brief silence and observe what new insights or feelings arise. The third is the silence journal. Before you start journaling or planning your day, sit in silence for 5 minutes first. Don't write anything down, just let the noise settle. Neuroscientific studies have shown that during moments of rest, the brain's default mode network activates, which is associated with self-referential thoughts and insight generation. This brief pause can enhance your ability to connect with deeper insights rather than just surface level concerns. Once the 5 minutes are up, then start writing. You will find that the first things that emerge are often your deepest insights, not just surface level concerns. These simple acts are powerful declarations to your brain. I am safe, I have time, I choose clarity over chaos. So, what is the result of this practice? It's not just less stress, it's the profound awareness that you have an inner sanctuary. In the quiet, the signal of your intuition, that wise inner voice finally has a chance to cut through the noise of distraction and obligation. Silence is what allows you to distinguish between your genuine needs and the demands of the world. It's the space where you decide if you are responding to life or just reacting to noise. And that fundamentally is the basis of true self awareness and sustainable peace. The ability to find calm is not dependent on your circumstances, it becomes dependent on your choice to embrace the quiet within. The subtle power of intentional silence is always available. It's free, it's restorative, and it is the fastest way to reclaim your presence. So here is your challenge for the week. Today, right now, schedule one moment, just 5 minutes to create intentional quiet. Decide when you will do it and set a reminder. Do the silence journal exercise or try the silent transition during your commute. Don't be afraid of the discomfort. Remember, that's the sound of your mind healing. So, if this message resonated with you, share this episode with one person who you know needs 5 minutes of quiet today. Thank you for tuning out the noise and tuning in to yourself. Until next time, choose your silence wisely. Go well, stay well, and be well.